Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. Whether you're taking a walk, cleaning your room, or just relaxing with a cup of coffee, thank you for spending your time with me. This podcast is your safe space to learn English in a natural, relaxed, and fun way. Today, we're diving into a really important and exciting topic. How can I speak naturally in English? Have you ever felt like the words in your head just don't sound right when you speak them out loud? Maybe you've studied English for years, but when it comes to conversation, it still feels awkward or stiff. You're not alone. Many English learners feel this way. Speaking naturally means sounding more like a native speaker, using common phrases, relaxing your tone, and speaking with flow and confidence. And guess what? You don't need perfect grammar or a huge vocabulary to do that. In this episode, I'll guide you through what speaking naturally really means, why it's hard for learners to do, real examples of natural versus textbook English, and, of course, my top tips to help you start sounding more natural when you speak. So, if you've ever asked yourself, how can I sound more fluent, more like a real English speaker? This episode is for you. All right, are you ready to get started? Let's go. So, let's start with a simple question. What does speaking naturally in English really mean? A lot of learners think it means speaking quickly or using big fancy words, but that's not true at all. Speaking naturally means speaking the way native speakers do in everyday conversations. It's not about being perfect, it's about being comfortable, clear, and confident. It means using expressions and tone that match the situation. It means your words flow, not like reading a script, but like having a real conversation with a friend. Let me give you a quick example. Imagine someone asks, "Hey, do you want to go out for lunch?" Now, you could say, "Yes, I would like to go out for lunch with you." That's correct, but it sounds a bit robotic, right? Instead, a more natural response would be, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." Or even, "Sounds good." See the difference? The first one is grammatically perfect, but the second one is how real people speak. Here's another one. Instead of saying, "I did not understand what you said," you could say, "Sorry, what was that?" Or, "Huh? Say that again?" That's natural English. It's quick, relaxed, and real. Speaking naturally is also about rhythm and intonation, the way your voice goes up and down. Native speakers don't speak word by word like a robot. They connect words. They use contractions like I'm, you're, they'll, and they often use short expressions like, kind of. So, to sum it up, speaking naturally means speaking in a way that sounds real, relaxed, and confident, just like how native speakers talk every day. It's not about being perfect, it's about being you in English. All right, now that we know what it means to speak naturally, let's talk about why it's so difficult for many learners and how you can overcome those struggles. Now that we understand what speaking naturally really means, let's talk about something important. Why is it so hard for many English learners to speak naturally? Honestly, this is one of the most common challenges I hear about from my students. They know the vocabulary, they've studied the grammar, but when it's time to speak, something just feels off. Let's look at some of the big reasons why. Let's be real. Speaking a second language can be scary. Many learners are afraid of saying something wrong or sounding silly, especially in front of native speakers. But here's the truth. Making mistakes is part of learning. In fact, native speakers make mistakes too. If you're always worried about being perfect, you'll never speak freely. And natural English is all about freedom. Freedom to express yourself, even if it's not perfect. Another big reason is translation. Many learners think in their native language first and then try to translate every word into English. That takes time, and it makes your speech slow and unnatural. For example, you might be thinking, "In my language, we say this. How do I say it in English?" By the time you find the words, the conversation has moved on. That's why learning to think in English is a powerful step toward speaking naturally. We'll talk more about that later. A lot of learners spend years studying grammar books, doing writing exercises, or taking tests, but they don't actually speak English regularly. Textbooks teach you what to say, but not how to say it. Real conversations are fast, emotional, messy, and full of expressions that you won't find in grammar books. If you're not practicing real speaking often, with friends, tutors, or even just by talking to yourself, then it's hard to sound natural. This one's interesting. Many learners speak English that's way too formal. It's polite and grammatically correct, but it doesn't sound like how people actually talk. You might say, "I do not want to attend the party tonight," instead of, "Nah, I don't feel like going," or "I'm gonna skip it." Both are correct, but the second one sounds natural and casual. And let's face it, most real-life English is casual. Learning how to use contractions, phrasal verbs, and common expressions can help you sound much more like a native speaker. If you don't know the everyday phrases that people use, it's hard to keep up in a real conversation. For example, instead of saying, "He made me very angry," a native speaker might say, "He really got on my nerves," or "He ticked me off." These little phrases, idioms, slang, expressions, are everywhere in natural English. The more you learn them, the more natural you'll sound. So if you've been struggling to speak naturally, don't worry. These challenges are completely normal, and the good news is there are ways to fix them. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Some fun examples of natural English versus textbook English. You'll hear the difference, and maybe you'll even say, "Oh, so that's how I should say it?" Let's get into that now. All right, now let's have some fun with this. In this part, I'm going to show you the difference between textbook English and natural English. You'll hear both versions, and I want you to notice how the second one sounds more relaxed, more real, more natural. Ready? Let's go. Example 1. Greeting a friend. Your folklore English: "Hello, how are you today?" Natural English: "Hey, how's it going?" Or even just, "What's up?" Example 2. Accepting an invitation. Napienplakafi says, "Yes, I would like to join you for dinner." Settingampiblakafi says, "Sure, I'm in," or "Yeah, let's do it." Example 3. Saying you don't know. I do not know the answer to that question. Natural English: I have no idea. Or, not sure. Or even, beats me. Example 4. Expressing excitement. Textbook English: I am very excited to see the new movie. Natural English: I can't wait to see that movie, or I'm super excited about it. As you can see, textbook English isn't wrong, but it can sound formal or even unnatural in casual conversation. If you want to speak naturally, you need to listen to how native speakers really talk and then try using those phrases yourself. Don't worry if it feels weird at first. It's like learning a new rhythm. But the more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Next up, I'll share some powerful techniques you can start using today to sound more natural when you speak English. Let's keep going. Now let's get into the good stuff. How can you start speaking English more naturally? I've got some simple, practical tips for you today. These are the same methods I recommend to my students, and they really work. Let's take them one by one. When you learn English, don't just memorize individual words. Focus on chunks or phrases. For example, instead of just learning the word busy, learn phrases like, I've been super busy lately. It's a busy day. Sorry, I'm a bit tied up. This helps you sound more natural because native speakers use set phrases all the time. Think of it like learning the building blocks of natural conversation. Here's a quick one. Native speakers almost always use asterisk contractions. Instead of, I am going to the store, say, I'm going to the store. Other examples, you are, you're. They will, they'll. Do not, don't. If you speak without contractions, it can sound robotic or overly formal. So practice using them. They'll instantly make your speech smoother. This is one of my favorite techniques, shadowing. Here's how it works. You listen to a native speaker, maybe from a YouTube video, movie, podcast, or TV show, and you repeat what they say in real time, copying their rhythm, tone, and pronunciation. It's not just about the words, it's about sounding like them. You can pause and repeat until it feels natural. This trains your brain and mouth to speak with a native-like flow. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day can make a big difference. This tip might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but trust me, it's powerful. Record yourself speaking English. Talk about your day, tell a story, or practice a dialogue. Then listen to the recording. Ask yourself, do I sound smooth? Am I pausing too much? Am I using natural expressions? This helps you hear your progress and also notice areas you can improve. Over time, you'll feel more confident and natural. You don't need a native speaker to practice speaking. You can speak to yourself. Yes, talk to yourself in English. Describe what you're doing. Okay, I'm making coffee now. Let's check my emails. I need to go buy groceries later. You're building a habit of thinking and speaking in English all day, and that's what helps you sound natural without hesitation. If you want to sound natural, you have to listen to natural English. Watch content that uses real, everyday language. Skip the boring textbook videos. Try sitcoms like Friends or The Office, podcasts with real conversations, YouTube bloggers who speak casually, TikToks or Instagram reels from native speakers. Listen for expressions, intonation, and slang. Write down what you hear, then use it when you speak. It's totally okay to imitate native speakers. In fact, it's one of the best ways to improve. Find someone whose accent or speaking style you like and copy them. Repeat what they say, match their tone and speed. It's like singing along to your favorite song. Over time, you'll develop your own natural rhythm. A big mistake learners make is trying to speak too fast to sound fluent, but they end up tripping over their words. It's better to speak slowly and clearly than to speak fast and get stuck. Natural English isn't always fast. It's smooth, so take your time. Fluency comes with practice. All right, those are some powerful tips you can start using today. You don't need to do all of them at once. Just pick one or two and build them into your daily routine. Remember, speaking naturally is a journey. You won't master it in one day, but every small step you take brings you closer. Up next, let's talk about something really important: how your mindset and confidence affect how naturally you speak English. Okay, so now that you've got the tips to speak more naturally, the next question is, how can I actually practice this every day? Let's break it down into small, easy steps that you can fit into your routine, even if you're super busy. Start your day by thinking or speaking in English. As soon as you wake up, describe what you're doing. I'm brushing my teeth. Time for breakfast. I'll make some toast. Even if it's just in your head, it trains your brain to think in English naturally. Pick a short video or podcast, maybe a scene from a TV show or a YouTube video. Play a small part, pause, and repeat exactly how the speaker says it. Focus on pronunciation, rhythm, and flow. You don't need hours. Just 5 minutes of focused shadowing is very effective. Use your phone to record a 1-minute audio every day. You can talk about anything: what you did today, what you plan to do tomorrow, how you feel. Then, listen to it. You'll notice how your speaking improves over time and where you can make it sound more natural. When you're walking, cooking, or cleaning, talk to yourself in English. It might feel funny at first, but it's one of the most powerful ways to build natural fluency. You don't need anyone else. Just narrate your life. Let's get started on lunch. I need to call my friend later. These small moments add up. Every day, choose one new natural English phrase and try to use it. For example, "I'm not sure, but I'll find out." That's totally up to you. Let's play it by ear. Use it in a sentence or two, repeat it, and try to say it in real situations. This builds your phrase bank, little by little. So, remember, you don't need 2 hours a day to improve. Even 15 to 20 minutes of smart, focused practice can help you speak more naturally. Make English part of your daily life, and you'll be amazed by how fast you grow. Next, let's look at something that holds many learners back: confidence and mindset. Let's talk about how to boost yours and speak without fear. Before we wrap up today's episode, I just want to leave you with a little motivation. If you're listening to this podcast, it means you're serious about improving your English, and that already sets you apart. Speaking naturally in English isn't about being perfect. It's not about using big words or sounding exactly like a native speaker. It's about connecting, you fags, expressing yourself, and being understood. Remember this: every native speaker once spoke their first words, every fluent learner once felt nervous and unsure, and every step you take, no matter how small, is progress. So don't give up when it feels hard. Don't compare yourself to others. Just keep going, one phrase, one sentence, one day at a time. You are doing amazing. And the more you practice, the more natural your English will become. You've got this. Now, let's move into our final part of the podcast, a quick review and some actionable steps to take with you after today. All right, let's quickly recap everything we talked about today. We started by understanding what it means to speak naturally in English. It's not about perfect grammar, it's about sounding smooth, confident, and real. Then we looked at why learners often struggle to speak naturally: fear, overthinking, and sticking to textbook English. We compared natural English versus textbook English with real examples. I shared powerful tips to help you speak more naturally, like using phrases, shadowing, recording yourself, and practicing every day. We also talked about building a simple daily routine and the importance of confidence and mindset. Here's a small challenge for you this week. Pick one natural English phrase every day. Practice it, say it out loud, and try to use it in a real sentence or conversation. Just one phrase a day. That's 7 new natural expressions by the end of the week. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm proud of you for taking the time to work on your English. Keep going. You're doing great. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow the podcast for more tips and real conversation practice. Until next time, stay confident, stay curious, and keep speaking English naturally. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of the English Learning Podcast. I hope you found today's topic, "How can I speak naturally in English?" helpful and inspiring. Remember, speaking naturally takes time, but with daily practice and the right mindset, you'll get there. You're already on the right path just by listening and learning. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow or subscribe and feel free to leave a comment or review. I'd love to hear your thoughts and questions. And don't forget to share this podcast with a friend who's also learning English. Let's grow together. Thanks again for listening. I'm Sarah, and I'll see you in the next episode of the English Learning Podcast.